All right, welcome to the Empire Builders podcast. That's Steve Semple. I'm Dave Young, and Stephen, I thought we were going to keep this podcast on the up and up, above board, like child friendly, and
Except for the cursing and swearing every once in a
except for
while.
the cursing and yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But when you told me that in today's episode, we're going to talk about a product, and I'm guessing more specifically, we're going to talk about the lovely British woman that became the spokesperson for this product by, gosh, I don't even know how to describe it. Like just being a lovely woman with a British accent and talking about pooping all at the same time, all over YouTube, all over. Pooping all over Facebook. We're talking about the product called Poo Pourri.
If someone's not familiar with the product, Poo Pourri is basically this spray that you spray on the toilet, like in the toilet bowl.
On the water, yeah.
On the water that basically prevents the odor from basically, overpowering the bathroom. It's this little bottle and they're like $20-$30 and you spray it and the product is called Poo Pourri. And so if you haven't seen the video, you really need to go watch the video either before listening to this or at the end, because it really is quite remarkable. And we're going to talk a little bit about the video because the company Poo Pourri was founded in 2007 by Suzie and it's best known for the viral videos.
I don't think we'd know it at all if it wasn't for the viral video.
Yeah, and collectively, they've had over 350 million views, and the company's on track to do, again, it's a private company, so it's hard to know, but the data I've been able to find is they're on track to do 100 million in sales.
Yeah.
At $20 a pop. So the business is estimated to be worth $250 million.
Yeah.
And the product is sold in 40,000 retail locations, Costco, Target, CVS, Walgreens, you name it. And on Amazon, they have over 100,000 five-star reviews.
Dang, that's a lot of 5-star poops.
That's yeah. And the company was ranked on Inc.'s 5,000 fastest growing companies every year since 2015. It's a big deal. But here's the interesting thing. It's not as much of an overnight success as people believe. When you read about Poo Pourri, the press is all about this $25,000 video that they posted to social media that blew them up. And the video was produced by the Harmon brothers. It was like literally the second or third campaign that the Harmon brothers did. The Harmon brothers, have done Purple and, all sorts of different products. Like you could actually go on and Harmon Brothers YouTube videos and find a whole bunch of them. And the video is awesome. And the thing that's really interesting about the video is, we often talk about this whole idea of fit but doesn't fit. So they have this very classic dressed British woman. She's in a classic gown with the classic, makeup and whatnot, and this very proper English accent talking about poo. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes it funny. And Matthew Burns and I have actually started a YouTube channel, stickysalesstories.com, and one of the ones that we're going a deep dive on is Poo Pourri. So if you really want a deep dive on the video, go over and check it out over there. But as I was saying, there's much more to this success than this $25,000 video. So Suzie was not successful out of the gate. She had actually quite a few failures along the way. She grew up in a poor, chaotic household in rural Arkansas. Her father was bipolar and an alcoholic. Her mother suffered from depression. She was first married at 19 years old, and she borrowed 40 grand from her parents and her then husband and the bank to buy a bridal shop in Jonesboro, Arkansas. So to save money, she bought out the old inventory from the previous owner. And there's a reason why the old owner was getting rid of the inventory cheap. It did not sell. And she couldn't pay back the loan, and by age 21, she went bankrupt. She divorced, was later remarried, had kids, divorced, remarried, another child. And so to help support the family, she entered bikini contests and also ran a business selling lingerie to strippers.
Wow.
Yeah,
all right.
So really interesting.
You do what you got to do, right?
Do what you got to do. They then later relocated to Texas in 1997, and she got a job at a recruiting firm. And that's when she started her next business. She had this idea for a recruiting website that would match employees to companies based upon the company culture. Not a bad idea, right?
Not a bad idea, no.
So she got a venture capitalist who promised to put $5 million in, but backed out because in 2000, the dot-com bubble burst.
Mm.
And again, she's unable to pay off business debts. She lost her home, filed for bankruptcy. And she vowed never to take on debt or an investor again in the future. Plus, she took a business break. She said she was going to take a break from business ideas. She called it a spiritual sabbatical for 4 years.
But man, this is in her blood.
This is in her blood, especially when you sit there and you say, I have to take a sabbatical. I have to force myself to not do this for a few years. So that all changed in 2006 when someone stunk up the bathroom.
Oh gosh, we've all been there.
We've all been there. Well, and her brother-in-law wondered, could bathroom odor be trapped? And she had an aha moment because she thought about the pungent essential oils that she used to relax.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
So she spent 9 months researching and testing oils and trying to find a natural way to fight the smell. So she started whipping up things in the kitchen. One day she got it right because, again, it wasn't about overcoming the odor. It was about containing the odor. That's what's different about her approach. One day she got it right and her husband said, we're going to be millionaires. So she decided to place the product, at a trade show. Now, here's another reason why this video worked for her. When you watch the Poo Pourri video, it is funny, it is entertaining, it is very tongue-in-cheek.
Mm-hmm.
But this also was natural to her. Like you cannot, and we've seen businesses try to do this where they have an owner in a culture that is not that way and they try to go, oh, let's do this funny video thing, and it never works.
Yeah.
She already had this sense of humor and this ability to sort of go, how do I do something different and stand out? Because when she went to a product trade show, she went, boy, how am I going to stand out with this? So what she hauled in was a toilet and filled it with lemons.
Nice.
And
At the
that
trade
was
show.
her setup at the trade show. It stood out and worked well, but it was already in her DNA that, okay, you got to stand out, you got to do something interesting and whatnot, right? The company was profitable right out of the gate, right out of the gate. She then went to boutiques to sell the product, and over the next 7 years, she had sales at 8,000 boutiques, and sales had hit $7 million.
These boutiques are selling the product for her.
Yep.
Okay. Just like these private little businesses.
Yep, 8,000 of them. She's selling $7 million. The product retails for $20. Making money, not bad after 7 years, right?
Yeah.
Susie's sitting on a beach in Hawaii reading Harvard Business Review that talks about the 7-year business itch. It's a thing. There is a 7-year business itch. It's a real thing. And she was feeling a bit bored. And that's when she decided, you know what? I got to shake things up.
Okay.
And that's what led to the Girls Don't Poop video. And this video amassed 10 million views in 2 weeks, created $4 million in back orders, and usually that's where the story ends. Most of the time when you read about it, that's where the story ends, but there's more to this story.
I want to pause just for a second here and say one thing that I instantly love about this is that you're right. It's in her DNA to shake it up. And most of the time you would have a business owner that would have to be like a hard sell to get somebody to run that video.
Mm-hmm.
But you're saying it was her idea, at least her idea to do something bold.
She had come across a couple of the early videos that the Harmon brothers had done even before they were an agency. And
Okay.
she chased them down.
Are these the guys that did like the how to sell it, like the trailer park?
They also did, the other poop one,
Yeah, the squatty potty.
Squatty Potty. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a different duo. But
Yes.
yeah.
But she chased them down. They weren't an advertising agency yet. They were a bunch of guys in school doing stuff. And she chased them down and said, I want you to do this. So she hired Harmon Brothers to do this, which are, now one of the top agencies out there. And spent 2 days with them. So again,
Yeah.
we hear about these videos and we don't realize that, and it's funny because we often get pushback on our own customers going, wow, do I have to spend that much time? Yes, you do. All of these great campaigns start with agencies spending a significant amount of time with you to get it figured out. It doesn't just come out of the blue. Anyway, she spent 2 days with them before creating the campaign. And that's an investment. Great campaigns take time. And the fun with this campaign was it was also authentic, right? Because, the toilet with lemons and things along that lines. But here's part of what everybody wants to talk about. She invested 25 grand in this video. But here's the thing that people don't talk about. Guess how much she invested to promote the video on YouTube and Facebook? Because initially it was promoted before it went viral.
Oh man, I'm guessing it's a pretty low number, but I don't know.
$650,000.
Oh, that's not a pretty small number.
Stay tuned. We're going to wrap up this story and tell you how to apply this lesson to your business right after this.
Nice one.
Thanks.
We should do this more often, man.
I wish we could.
And why can't we?
It's my business.
What about it? Thought everything was good.
It was.
Do I hear a but in there?
Sales have started to flatten, and we're down over last year.
Oh.
Can't figure it out. Tried a bunch of stuff. Putting in more time doesn't seem to make a difference.
Yikes.
It's frustrating.
Have you spoken to Steven?
Who?
The host from the podcast we just interrupted?
No.
Why not? I thought you were trying stuff.
I am, but what's Steven gonna do?
He'll work with you for free.
You mean that starter session thing?
Yep.
I don't know.
What do you have to lose?
Not much, I guess.
So, you gonna book one?
Yeah, why not? Where do I do it again?
I think you can do it right from this podcast.
Cool, thanks.
You bet.
We really should do this more often.
Golf more or interrupt this podcast?
Over to you, Dave.
Book your starter session on this podcast's website. Just visit theempirebuilderspodcast.com and click on Get Started.
Let's pick up our story where we left off, and trust me, you haven't missed a thing.
This is the part that everybody ignores when it comes to a lot of these campaigns where there's a viral video.
Viral, yeah.
It's amazing how often there is a significant advertising campaign to get it pushed out there to help it take root.
Mm.
And then it goes crazy and viral.
Yeah, you've got to hit that critical mass.
You've got to hit that critical mass. And so there's a lot more to this story than is normally told. It's amazing just how many of these viral videos have had to have a kickstart to get them out the door. Then there is a point where it catches on fire and you don't have to do it any longer, and it takes on a life of its own. And it's great because it just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes, right? But to make these things happen, they have to be authentic. They've got to be interesting. They have to be entertaining. And even if you're not spending a whole pile of money promoting it, you still have to have a plan for how are you going to push this out to the world. Can't just be, oh, I'll publish it.
Yeah.
You know, there has to be a plan for the promotion of it, even if it's just, you know, getting it into certain communities and things along that lines. But what I love is also her, you know, things are going well, but I want to kick this to the next level.
Yeah.
Right? How often do we also see that with our business owner client?
You know, and I've got to admit that I was so wrong, thinking that, oh, it was just so good that everybody loved it and everybody shared it, and voila, that 650 grand priming the pump set me back. Did not understand that about that video.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you know, and it's like when you go back to the Old Spice one, you know, the Old Spice, you know, I'm on a horse. They had
Sure.
a significant campaign behind that to get it going. You know, it was playing in Walmarts and like all
Yeah,
sorts of
well,
things.
and that you know, that's so true. And in that case, as far as the creative goes, that was a Whedon and Kennedy thing that they told Procter and Gamble, we'll take this old dead brand of yours, and yeah, we'll take a shot at it, but you have to give us 100% control.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm guessing she did that pretty well with those guys. But yeah, you've got to get it out in front of people in a significant way, or you're just hoping. Here's where I should have figured out that it wasn't just a viral play, is that it's a product. It's still a commercial, right?
Yes.
It's still trying to sell you something. There's a lot of copycat videos out there now. Not copycat products, but it turns out to be a really good way of promoting products that have a little bit of fun element to them.
Yeah, and the other interesting thing is the Harmon brothers have a podcast. And if you go to the podcast and you listen to the podcast actually on Poo Pourri, one of the things that they also did before launching the video is they did a lot of testing. Like the Girls Don't Poop headline for the video was discovered because they were putting like little clips of video out there and testing different things, and it actually came back in some of the comments. There was a bunch of comments where then somebody made that comment and it created all sorts of conversation, and they went, that should be the name for the video. And what I find is when we go back 15 years ago, online marketing, people were much better at testing things. It's amazing how many online campaigns I take over, PPC campaigns I take over, and I look at it and go, there's been zero testing. And how do I know there's been zero testing? Is they change everything. Like there's a methodology to testing. And what they do is they're just throwing poop against the wall and hoping some will stick.
Hoping some of it becomes lemon scented.
And so the Harmon brothers also had a real methodology around how they tested a lot of things before pushing this out there. There was the promotion, there was the testing, there was a lot went on behind this video that created this massive success. And look, good for her. She doesn't have debt, she doesn't have investors, and she's got 100,000 five-star reviews, and is selling in 40,000 retail locations, and business that's estimated to be worth $250 million.
I love that, when she decided to blow it all up, she was sitting on a beach in Hawaii already.
Yeah, bored.
Yeah, bored.
It's amazing. I was having a meeting with a long-standing customer a little while ago, and he was talking about how one of the things that has changed since the marketing campaign we put in place is that he's having more fun with his business now than he was having before. I just wanted people to know the behind the scenes. Amazing female entrepreneur, overcome a lot of challenges, inner blood, creative, good for her, and people should go check out the video. It's a phenomenal piece of marketing.
Yeah, if you're one of the few people on the planet that hasn't seen it, go watch it.
Go watch it. Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Thanks for sharing that story.
Thanks, David.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. Please share us, subscribe on your favorite podcast app, and leave us a big, fat, juicy 5-star rating and review. And if you have any questions about this or any other podcast episode, email to questions@theempirebuilderspodcast.com.